IMA MSN LLR, on behalf of the entire council, welcome the guest panel today. We have among us Shri Pradeep K. Gawande Sir, IAS, MD RSLDC, Government of Rajasthan, Dr. Virendra Kumar Sir, Additional Secretary, IMA UP State. Our guest speaker for today, Dr. Udbhav Mittal Sir, a well-renowned ENT surgeon, Lakhan Prakash Gupta Sir, State Convener, IMA MSN UP, Sakshi Singh Ma'am, State General Secretary, IMA MSN UP. We extend our warmest welcome to all our guests and participants as we look forward to the most informative and engaging session today. Now, I request Convener of IMA MSN LLRM Medical College, Kushagra Vedic, to introduce our today's guests.
Thank you, Ria. I, Kushagra Vedic, convener of IMA MSN LLRM unit, take this opportunity to introduce to you Shri Pradeep K. Gawande Sir. He is one of the most distinguished IAS officers, currently posted as MD of Rajasthan Skill and Livelihood Development Corporation, Jaipur. He is an inspiration to all medical students as he himself pursued MBBS and later cracked UPSC to be an IAS officer. Since then, he has been serving the nation by means of his noble work. I thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time and joining us today. Also, I request you to please enlighten us with your Gondal words on this occasion. Sir, please.
शायद आवाज ही नहीं आ रही है.
So there is a technical glitch from his side. I'll just add on.
I think Sir is not here with us yet, or I think there's some technical issue. He's not able to connect. We'll wait for a minute, otherwise we'll proceed and take his words a bit later. So can you hear me? Okay, I think there's some technical issue. We'll continue further. I request General Secretary of IMA MSN LLRM Medical College, Priyanshi Goyal, to introduce Dr. Virendra Kumar, sir.
Thank you, Ria. I, Priyanshi Goyal, the General Secretary of IMA MSN LLRM Unit, feels highly elated to introduce Dr. Virendra Kumar, sir. He is a notable alumni of the college. Sir pursued his MBBS from Lala Lajpat Rai Memorial Medical College, Meerut, and MS from ENT from MLB Medical College, Jhansi. He is currently the Additional Secretary of IMA UP State and President of IMA Bulandshahr. He has performed over 5,000 surgeries and has even carried out many critical operations. Ear surgery is his field of interest. He has published many international and national journals and has also discovered 2 diseases. He was also awarded by the Honorable Governor of UP in 2017 and Honorable Chief Minister Shri Yogi Adityanath ji. We are pleased to have you among us, sir. I request you to please share your thoughts with all of us.
धन्यवाद। मेरी आवाज आ रही है? मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं? धन्यवाद। मैं डॉक्टर वीरेंद्र कुमार। इंट्रोडक्शन तो आपने बता ही दिया है कि 86 बैच है मेरा मेडिकल कॉलेज मेरठ से ही। शायद मैं आप लोगों से बहुत सीनियर हूँ। तो पहले तो मैं आप सब लोगों को धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि आपकी इतनी अच्छी पॉजिटिव सोच है कि आज नो टोबैको डे के ऊपर आपने एक वेबिनार आयोजित करा है। और ये धन्यवाद मेरी तरफ से ही नहीं है, हमारे नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट डॉक्टर जयेश, नेशनल सेक्रेटरी डॉक्टर लेले, हमारे स्टेट के प्रेसिडेंट डॉक्टर M.K. बंसल, उन्होंने स्पेशली कहा है मुझसे, और डॉक्टर सेक्रेटरी जो हमारे स्टेट के IMA के हैं डॉक्टर राजी, इन 4 लोगों ने स्पेशली मुझसे कहा है कि आप उन छात्रों को हमारी तरफ से भी धन्यवाद दें और कहें कि उन्होंने आज जो ये वेबिनार आयोजित करा है बहुत ही अच्छा है। और मैं आप लोगों को ये और बता दूं कि MSN मेडिकल स्टूडेंट नेटवर्क ये IMA का ही एक ब्रांच है। शायद अभी बहुत लोग मेडिकल कॉलेज में नया आप लोगों ने दाखिला लिया है, तो ये बात मैं साथ ही साथ कह दूं कि बहुत लकी है आप लोग कि आपको ऐसा प्रोफेशन आपने ऐसा प्रोफेशन चुना है जो मानव जाति के लिए काम करता है। वैसे तो सारे प्रोफेशन अपने आप में बहुत यूनिक होते हैं। IAS लोग हैं वो अपने तरीके से देश की सेवा करते हैं, PCS अपने तरह से देश की सेवा करते हैं, लॉयर्स हमारे देश के हैं वो अपनी तरह से देश की सेवा कर रहे हैं, राजनेता अपनी तरह से देश की सेवा करते हैं, लेकिन ये सब लोग देश की सेवा कर रहे हैं। आप लोग विशेष लोगों में से आते हैं जो मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स हैं। मैं इस बात को स्पेशली कहूँगा कि वो मानव जाति में विशेष लोगों में आते हैं, क्योंकि वो देश की सेवा के साथ साथ मानव की सेवा भी कर रहे हैं। आप मेरी इस बात से सहमत होंगे कि नर सेवा नारायण सेवा कहलाती है। यानी आप ऐसे व्यक्तियों की सेवा करते हैं जो बेचारा दीनहीन भी है, जो जिनके पास पैसे भी नहीं है, उनकी भी सेवा आप करते हैं। जिनके पास जिनकी और लोग सेवा नहीं करते, उनकी सेवा भी आप करते हैं। जैसे आजकल कोविड का दौर चल रहा है, आप समझ सकते होंगे कि कोविड के दौर में अपने सगे रिश्तेदार भी मरीजों से, अपने ही मरीजों से दूर दूर भाग रहे हैं, वो उनकी सेवा नहीं कर रहे हैं। ऐसे वक्त में डॉक्टर लोग उनकी सेवा कर रहे हैं जो अपनों की सेवा खुद नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि आपने कितना अच्छा प्रोफेशन चुना है। ये संसार का मैं तो ये कहूँगा कि ये विश्व का ऐसा प्रोफेशन है कि जो अपने आप में बिल्कुल निराला है। तो इस बात के लिए बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप लोगों ने ये प्रोफेशन चुना है, और मुझे इस बात की बहुत खुशी है कि आप फर्स्ट में ही मैं मेडिकल एमएसएन के मिस्टर कुशाग्र वैदिक और साक्षी सिंह, एमएसएन के मिस्टर लखन प्रकाश, ये बहुत ही यूनिक नाम है। लखन प्रकाश जी को शायद सभी लोग जानते होंगे जो एमएसएन से जुड़े हुए हैं। लखन प्रकाश जी मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स की किसी भी परेशानी को वो सुनते हैं, और स्टेट में जहां भी हो उस परेशानी को वो दूर कराते हैं। तो आप आईएमए के एक हिस्सा है, और आईएमए आपकी आपकी भविष्य की कुशलता की कामना हमेशा करता रहेगा, और किसी भी तरह की आपको परेशानी आएगी, आईएमए हमेशा आपके साथ है। और आप लोगों को स्टेट में, पूरे ही उत्तर प्रदेश में किसी भी तरह की कोई परेशानी है तो मिस्टर लखन प्रकाश जी से, लखन प्रकाश गुप्ता है, आप उनसे संपर्क स्थापित कर सकते हैं और अपनी समस्याएं बता सकते हैं। मैं विशेष धन्यवाद दूंगा कुशाग्र वैदिक, प्रियांशी गोयल, रिया आहूजा और याना कौशिक, जिन्होंने विशेष पेन लेकर ये प्रोग्राम आयोजित कराया। और मैं विशेष धन्यवाद अपने मिस्टर प्रदीप के गावंडे जी हैं, जो राजस्थान सरकार में हैं, आईएएस हैं, एमडी है, सीनियर आईएएस हैं। उन्होंने शायद अभी जुड़ गए या नहीं जुड़े?
सर, he has joined. He will speak after you.
अच्छा जी। तो मैं गावंडी जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दूंगा कि उन्होंने हमारे छात्रों के बीच में आकर छात्रों का उत्साहवर्धन कर रहे हैं। और मैं डॉक्टर उद्भव मित्तल, जो ईएनटी सर्जन है और एक्सपर्ट सर्जरी, उनकी फोनो सर्जरी और नेजल सर्जरी, एंडोस्कोपिक सर्जरी, कई प्रकार की सर्जरी वो करते हैं, आज आपके बीच में बोलेंगे। मैं डॉक्टर उद्भव मित्तल का विशेष धन्यवाद दूंगा, और मैं ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा, क्योंकि बस 2 शब्द कहूँगा नो वर्ड टोबैको डे के बारे में, कि तंबाकू का सेवन किसी भी प्रकार, किसी भी तरह से, हम लोग तंबाकू, कई लोग पीने में इस्तेमाल करते हैं धुएं के रूप में, कई लोग खाने के रूप में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, खैनी बहुत लोग खाते हैं, और कई लोग और भी तरह से उसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं। और तो मैं आज के दिन सभी लोगों को कहूँगा कि तंबाकू का किसी भी प्रकार का इस्तेमाल आपके स्वास्थ्य के लिए हानिकारक होगा। और मैं विद्यार्थियों से, खासकर स्टूडेंट से इस बात को कहूँगा कि मेडिकल में सिलेक्शन होने के बाद मैंने अक्सर देखा है कि बहुत लोग किसी न किसी बहाने तंबाकू या इसका सेवन करने लगते हैं। हॉस्टल में लोग सिगरेट पीने का प्रचलन में मुझे बड़ा दुख होता है कि मैं इस बात को कहते हुए मैं थोड़ा दुखी भी हूँ कि जब 86 में मैं मेरठ के एनजेबी हॉस्टल में रहा करता था। उसके बाद मेरठ के ही मैं एसबी हॉस्टल में ट्रांसफर हुआ, सीनियर बॉयज हॉस्टल में। जो मेरठ मेडिकल कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो जानते होंगे एनजेबी के बारे में और सीनियर बॉयज हॉस्टल के बारे में और ओल्ड जेबी के बारे में। तो 86 में ये प्रचलन नहीं था वहाँ पे कि कोई भी व्यक्ति, हमने नहीं देखा कि वो धूम्रपान करता हो या खैनी खाता हो या गुटखा खाता हो। लेकिन पता नहीं क्या परिवर्तन आया है लोगों की विचारधाराओं में आजकल। मैं देखता हूँ अभी मैं कुछ दिनों पहले एनजेबी गया था तो मैंने कई लोगों को देखा कि वहाँ पे वो लोग सिगरेट पी रहे थे। बहुत बुरा लगा ऐसा देखते हुए। स्टूडेंट लाइफ में सिगरेट पीना या ये करना ये बहुत ही गलत है। आप डॉक्टर हैं, आपको देखकर दुनिया अपना असूल बनाती है। तो यदि आप लोग ही इस तरह के सेवन करेंगे तो शायद लोग हमारे देश के लोगों पर इसका बुरा प्रभाव जाता है। तो आज नो टोबैको डे पे मैं सभी लोगों को ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, खासकर स्टूडेंट्स से, कि वो अपने बीच में इस तरह की प्रवृत्ति को ना पनपने दें और तंबाकू का पूर्णतः बहिष्कार करें। धन्यवाद। मैं ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. We hope our participants would have surely been enlightened by you. Now we have Gawande sir among us. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. I am sure that our audience would have surely been enlightened by you today. Now I request Shri Pradeep K. Gawande sir, an IAS officer who is among us, to please enlighten the audience with his golden words.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are
Yes, sir.
Audible. I am Pradeep. I am a 2013 batch IAS officer in Rajasthan cadre. Basically, I am from Latur, Maharashtra. Right now, I am MD RSLDC in Rajasthan government. And right now, I am also attached to the health department and looking after the supply and distribution of liposomal amphotericin B, which is in a very, I would say, a necessity to all the patients right now, and we are having very short supplies of it. So I'm looking after it, and for that, I would say that it would be difficult for me to spare more time with all of you. I will be there with you for a few more minutes. And I would like to congratulate the organizers to organize this event on this No Tobacco Day. Especially Kushagra, he called me and asked me to join in. So I thank him. Right now, what we are observing in India is that this tobacco use has been so normalized in our society that it is not even considered as substance abuse by the young people of India. It is so normalized that it is not even an issue of concern to those who consume it, as well as those who are familiar with the person who consume it. So it happens that it is normalized, and after many years, when the symptoms start and when its ill effects start showing, people realize that it is they made a bad choice. But when symptoms appear and it becomes like non-recoverable situation, it is no use to later say that it was a bad choice to get addicted to this tobacco in any form, in any, be it cigarettes, khaini, tambaku, chewables, or anything. So what is happening is what I observed from the field as well as my own experiences, that school-going children are getting used to this tobacco addiction, right? like you can find a 6th class, 7th class student also getting addicted to tobacco use. Right now, previously before me, it was mentioned that medical students are also guilty of having getting addicted to this tobacco use. But what is happening is I do agree with him because I have myself observed it, and it is quite very common among medical students to get addicted to tobacco use. But what is worrying is that not in medical colleges. Right now, it is happening in our schools, where the futures are built, where future of India is going to be built, and there young children, young students are getting used to this addiction. So it is very important for all of us. So because you have thought of organizing such events on this day, I would also like to give in some suggestions. It is not like that I'm saying it as I'm used to giving suggestions being an IS officer. I feel it, so I'm just saying that if you are interested in these things, you can go for organizing some evidence-based programs, tours, where you take young people, young students in, say, hospitals, where they can see with their own eyes how tobacco use can be so lethal. So if you can think on those lines, it would be more helpful to uh, to show the students, means in front of their eyes. It is like, say, evidence-based approach. So you can show them what are these ill effects, because many times it is happening. Right now the generation is also so fast and so much addicted to so many things that I don't think it is possible if you say to someone you stop using the substance which is by its nature very addictive. I don't think you can just say to him and he is going to stop. What we have to do is to show him the evidence, what effect it would lead to, how it will hamper his family members, his close ones. So, because it is like a vicious cycle between tobacco and poverty. The poorer the person is, he is more likely to get addicted to tobacco use. And as he's more likely to tobacco use, he's going to spend more money on that tobacco use. And by spending more, he is giving he has to face the opportunity cost of spending money of the of his little earned money on tobacco use, by depriving his children from better school education, better clothes, better food, anything like that. And he is himself uh, is going to lead into a non-productive, or say less productive life. His life will also shorten. It is like a vicious cycle, and the more commonly it can be observed anywhere that the social stratification, if you go for the social stratification, from where there is more substance abuse, you can clearly observe that socio-economic status of a person has a very direct linkage to this getting to substance abuse. Not only tobacco, for any substance abuse for that matters, say alcohol. Now many synthetic drugs are coming up, many non-prescription drugs people are taking, because once one person becomes addicted, it is very difficult to convince him to leave that addiction. So it is better to educate people when they are quite young, say from 5th and 6th class. People are now getting addicted to this substance. So our focus should be on these groups. We have to focus on the school going children. It is not because sir previously told he was from 86 batch, and in 86 he lived, and there was no one who was addicted to tobacco. So now as things have changed, maybe when I was there, the people from medical colleges were addicted to this. Now it is not like that. It is rampant in our schools. In our schools, you will find many students getting abused to this. So I would request all of you, so as you are very interested in these activities, and not only this, I hope that you might be organizing these kind of events, different events which are helpful to the society. So I also congratulate all of you to carry on this great work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and also for slicing off your valuable time. We know how busy you were, and then too you agreed to come us and enlighten us. We hope that our participants would have been surely enlightened by you. Also, we will take up the suggestions by you, and the council will work on this in the future.
Thank you.
Now, thank you very much, sir, for coming.
I request Kushagra Vedic to introduce our guest speaker for today to the audience and then begin the academic session.
It's an honor for me to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Udbhav Vittal sir, ENT surgeon. Sir has pursued his MBBS from University College of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, and MS ENT from AMU Aligarh. He has performed many advanced ENT surgeries, endoscopic transsphenoidal pituitary tumor resection and endoscopic cartilage tympanoplasty, to name a few. Sir has also conducted many academic events to share his work in the field, and today he is here to give us some knowledge. He has been very active in raising awareness among citizens during COVID-19 pandemic and has been doing commendable work. I request you, sir, to please take the charge of webinar and deliver your informative session. Also, I request to all the participants that if they want to raise any question to speaker, sir, they may write in the chat box. The moderators will ask those questions at the end of the session on your behalf. Sir, please.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much. I am deeply honored to be part of this wonderful campaign you people have started. I feel so good when young people and young MBBS students give their initiative and organize such wonderful, informative things. My sincere thanks to LLRM, MSN Society, Kushagra, Riya, and all the guys who have worked so hard to organize this. Special thanks to our honorable guest, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Gawande sir. He has given us some valuable suggestions, and I think we all should listen him carefully and we should implement those things in our life. And I know how much work these people are doing because I'm very closely associated with Dr. Satish Jain sir in Jaipur, and I know how much work the Jaipur and all the people are doing in this COVID work. My special thanks to our honorable Dr. Virendra Kumar sir. Not only he is a brilliant ENT surgeon, a even more brilliant human being. He has given his heart and soul to the Bulandshahr IMA, and I think what all our IMA is today is because of sir and his efforts in bringing our IMA to the national podium. So now, starting with the topic, it's a very important topic, the World No Tobacco Day. So we all know that tobacco has a role in each and everything. Almost, as we can see, more than 1 million people die from tobacco every year. What we know is that mainly people think tobacco is only causing cancer, heart attack, heart problems, but we are ignoring the fact that tobacco has so many different effects on our overall body and overall, especially the ENT part, because basically whatever you are taking tobacco, whether smoking or chewable tobacco, is basically you are taking it either from nose, mouth. So all your lips to lungs are being exposed to tobacco. So not only tobacco is causing cancers all around from lip to your lungs, every part is being exposed to tobacco and you are prone to each and every kind of a cancer related to head and neck. And to tell you more, only smoking increases more than 15 times of the chances of having cancer. And out of them, 70% cases are very fatal. So I want to share you, apart from the cancer side, what all other effects basically tobacco is causing in our ENT perspective. So from name a few, I just want to tell, whenever like I bring some models. So basically what is happening, I want to start with the nose part, the sinus. So you all can see, this is our nose, this is our nasal mucosa, these are our sinuses. So what is happening whenever we are smoking or whenever we are taking any kind of a smoke, the smoke is going all over the sinuses and the nasal mucosa. So first of all, basically many people who say that they are having this allergic rhinitis problem, the main thing is not only the environmental cause. The particles in the smoking or tobacco are itself allergen to our nasal mucosa. There are more than 15,000 things in the tobacco which can cause allergy. So most of the smokers who have this problem of chronic rhinosinusitis is not only because of the environmental pollutants, also because of the smoking. First of all. Second, in all these sinuses, in the mucosa, we have a small cilia, which we call microcilia. So what these cilia do, whenever we are, the secretions is being formed in the sinuses, they are circulating in the nose, and these secretions are coming in the nose. So when these cilia are damaged because of the smoking, the secretions tend to get collected into the sinuses, and they are not able to come out into the nose. So gradually what is happening, your sinuses are getting blocked, and ultimately the secretion become thick and infective, and then it turns to be a chronic rhinosinusitis or fungal sinusitis. Ultimately, usually in the early stage, if only we can quit smoking, we can prevent this. Otherwise, we need to start medications, and in many times we need to do functional endoscopic sinus surgery, in which we need to open the sinuses pathway so that the secretions can come into the nose. So this is all about sinuses. Now, not only your nose is being affected with the smoke, also your ear. So what is happening? Ultimately, your nose is connected to the ear with this wonderful tube, which we call eustachian tube. Again, the same thing. The eustachian tube is also having these microcilia, which are propelling the secretions from the ear to the nose. So whenever we are smoking, not only we are damaging our nasal sinuses, we are damaging the mucosa of our eustachian tube. So ultimately, the secretions which are to come to the nose from the ear are being collected in the ear, and gradually with the time they become infected, and then we have the problems like OME, otitis media with effusion, ear discharge, and all other things, heaviness in the ear, and chronic discharge in the ear. So that is also connected to your sinuses and to your nose. Not only the ear discharging, the smoking per se in long term damages your inner ear, the cochlea, which is basically responsible for balancing things, responsible for hearing mechanism. In the long run, your inner ear, the cochlea, gets damaged, and you get complications like hearing loss, tinnitus, ringing sensation in the ear in the long term. So basically, from the acute to the chronic, the smoking is basically, or tobacco is hampering each and everything of your head and neck, right from lips to lungs. Not only ear, even your eyes, your dryness or itchiness, each and every allergic symptoms from wherever the smoke is going is hampering that particular area. I also want to tell you, we have so many problems like hoarseness, laryngitis, thyroid problems, even in the neck, your thyroid. The thyroid gland is also susceptible to smoking. Many hyper and hypothyroidism cases are only because of the smoking. So smoking is not only hampering ear, nose, even your thyroid. So what I want to tell, like in this COVID, there is a wonderful example like steam inhalation. Now what is happening, people were supposed to take steam only for a few times. But during this COVID, because of this WhatsApp, people have taken steam so much that they have injured their nasal mucosa and it has become very thin. So because of which the fungus, which is already in the nose, is getting into the ear, into the eyes and into the brain. So now you can think that only a couple of months of the steam is causing so much damage to your nasal mucosa. So think about the smoking and all those things, how much damage they must be causing to your nasal mucosa and your overall mucosa of oral mucosa, everything. I have seen so many young people of such a young age having typical head and neck cancers, which you cannot imagine that can happen in a young people because of this tobacco chewing and smoking. So I want to request each and everyone that you all guys should be aware, and not only we should think smoking into a broader term or tobacco as only a cancer kind of a thing. We should make people aware that it will not only prevent those horrible diseases, it will improve your quality of life. You will love your life, because once addicted, it's very difficult to quit the addiction. And I want this session to be more interactive one. So I will request Kushagra that if in audience people have any question regarding this tobacco effect on the ENT or any question related to ENT, they are free to ask me.
Okay, sir, we have already asked them to put up the question, and Yana Kaushik will ask the questions from you.
Yeah. So basically, to summarize all the things, my point is that smoking not only is causing cancer, it is hampering each and every part of your airway system. It's a universal airway system, ear, nose, throat, and your upper airway disease. Like many people are saying, asthma and your allergic rhinitis are kind of a brother. The people who are asthmatic are even more prone to chronic rhinosinusitis. So they are like a similar conditions. So especially people who are having any respiratory problems should definitely stay away from any kind of a smoke, even the passive smoking, and all the smoke, regardless whether it's cigarette, is hookah, is anything, any kind of a smoke which is unnatural is bad for your airway system. So you have to completely avoid tobacco, and tobacco chewing is per se is the most drastic bad habit anyone can have. And I will sincerely urge all the people to stay away from tobacco chewing and all other things. Being a phonosurgeon, I have seen that usually what happens in these cases, the patient when comes to us, they comes into stage 3 and 4. Already the stage 1 and 2, in which only with the simple radiotherapy we can cure the patient, the stage is already gone. Because most of the symptoms of the cancer people ignore. They think it's normal pain, it's normal hoarseness. But once we do endoscopy, we see that vocal cord, they are having this cancerous growth. And they ignore this thing for months. And ultimately what happens, they come in stage 3 and 4. And at that time, not only radiotherapy, they need to have an advanced surgery. Their whole voice box has to be taken out and their life become hell. So first of all, we should stay away, and if someone in your family or anyone is doing it, they should be very particular about each and every small symptom also they are getting. And I don't know in our India why, but I think we all should have a routine ENT checkup once in a year with any ENT nearby to you, to at least if you are indulging any kind of these bad habits, first of all, you should quit. And if you are doing it, then at least you have to be very proactive about each and every symptom. So Kushagra, any questions from the audience we have?
So will you just take up the questions and ask you?
Yes, sir, we do have questions coming up from the audience.
And one more thing I want to point all of you, like we all do regular brushing up of the teeth and those things. We all are in habit of doing that. But there is a word called nasal hygiene. We have so many solutions in the market which are there to keep your nose clean. So whosoever is having any kind of allergic problem, or if like any exposure to tobacco, they're having the symptom of heaviness or this rhinitis symptom, they definitely should have a nasal cleansing agent in their home, and they should regularly rinse their nose at least twice a day. Not only they're available in the market, you can prepare the solution at your home. It's very simple to prepare. So I just want that not only you should just brushing and all those things, you should keep your nasal mucosa and nasal hygiene is extremely important.
First of all, my sincere thanks to you, sir, for sharing such valuable information. We are grateful for the time and efforts you took to share your thoughts and experiences. Now I have some questions coming up. People are posting them privately to me. I request you to post it publicly because we have Yana Kaushik as the moderator to ask your questions.
I'm getting the question like Jay Kumar has asked me, passive smoking is worse than active smoking. See, any smoking, whether it's active or passive, is bad. If anyone is doing active smoking, ultimately the smoke is also going into your lungs. A small poison is also that much harmful like a big poison. So basically, if anyone in your circle is doing active smoking, you're thinking that you are not exposed to the smoke, is completely wrong. Then Gauri Malhotra is wanting to know mucormycosis fatal only for diabetic patient. So basically, Gauri, what is mucormycosis is that mucormycosis is a disease, it's a normal fungal commensal in your nose. This mucormycosis can happen to anyone. The point is, whenever your body becomes immunocompromised, your immunity status goes down. Then this fungus goes from your nose to your to your brain and to your eye. So what happens is this fungus basically needs iron and glucose to survive. So in diabetic people, typically who are uncontrolled diabetic people, and when they go to a phase of ketoacidosis, their glucose level shoots up tremendously. And that time, this fungal extremely thrives immediately. So what main thing is 95% cases of mucor are seen only in diabetics. So diabetes is the #1 factor, but also immunocompromised things, lots of steam, excessive use of steroid can also do this. Now in the mucormycosis fungus, we have 2-3 types of fungus. Like mucor is a very fatal fungus. We can have only fungus ball. So in that case, we don't need to rush to the medication. We can wait for some time and then we can do the surgery. But if you are encountering black fungus, typically dryness, foul smelling discharge, one side typical pain, then you should think about mucormycosis and immediately you should see a doctor. So Anand is saying, is it necessary that itching in the throat? So Anand, basically any symptom itching, I have seen many patients who are having this sore throat, itchiness, dryness, kind of symptoms. Those are completely related to smoking if anyone is doing smoking. So basically you need to quit your smoke and then you need to do regular gargling. Now we have so many gargles available in the market. What you need to do is basically 0.5% concentration of Bigadine gargle you have to use. The normal Bigadine which you get in the market is of 2%. You can dilute that Bigadine into 1:4 ratio and you should regularly do gargling. And now we have ready-made solutions available in the market which you can buy easily. So what I will tell that people should keep their mouth and nose clean and regular gargling and plus nasal hygiene should be maintained. So Utkarsh wants to know how much smoking is harmful to a non-smoker for living near a smoker addict. See, first of all, if you are living near a smoker addict, it's itself a harmful thing for you. And now, whatsoever, see, basically you need to quit that place. See, now what is happening in our air also, our AQI level is so low that even the person who is not smoking is itself is like you are having 20 to 30 cigarettes if you are not smoking because of the air pollution. So already we all are passive smokers. But the point is, why to unnecessarily increase your risk even more? So my suggestion will be you should avoid being near to a smoker addict. And if you are thinking that he is harming only himself, no, he is harming the whole society and you should avoid him. So Amit wants to know, students are thinking smoking as an alternative for stress resolving methods. So Amit, I think stress is part and parcel of our medical professional life. We all people, right from our 10th exam, then 12th exam, then MBBS entrance, then MS. I don't think the stress thing ever ends. Whenever you are in private practice or in a government job, your life is always stressful. And no matter whatever you think you are in whatever stage of your life, the stress will going to increase. Now you have stress of your own. When you have a family, you will be having stress of your kids, your wife and everything. So having a say because of the stress I'm doing smoking is completely wrong. There's so many alternative methods like yoga and meditations which you can. I think as a medical profession, what we all people are lacking that we are not doing many outdoor activities. I will sincerely urge people to involve themselves in some kind of outdoor activity, any kind of a game, so that they can just divert their mind. And like health is basically a sound mental and physical well-being. It's not only about physical well-being, it's also about the mental well-being. So at the mental level, you all should be happy. And I don't think that smoking somehow make your stress go away, because ultimately whenever a smoker will always need a cigarette after half an hour or 1 hour. So if he's thinking the stress is going with the one cigarette, the stress will come after half an hour, then he has to take another cigarette. So it's a never ending procedure. So Hina Rahman wants to know what are the causes of nose bleeding these days. Is this a sign of danger? So basically, Hina, the nasal epistaxis in the young age is usually because of the dryness. In the old days, is basically because of your hypertension. So if anyone in your family is above 50, above 60, if he's having nasal bleed, they should definitely have a routine cardiovascular checkup. They should monitor their BP, because basically we have a Kisselbeck plexus in our nose, which is a plexus made by 3 or 4 vessels, and which is very prone to any kind of dilatation or dryness. Then we also, the nasal mucosa is highly rich in blood supply. So whenever your BP fluctuates, the first thing to bleed is your nose. So in the old days, I will tell people to at least have their cardiovascular checkup, their cholesterol level and all those things. In the young age, definitely we should need more workup. We should do a routine endoscopy, that from where this blood is coming, because as you all know, there is one entity called juvenile nasoangiofibroma. So what happens, this typically occurs in male, and typically the age is from 13 to 30. So what happens is, in those male patients, they have this regular symptom of nasal epistaxis, or bleeding from one side. So it's kind of a benign tumor which is dependent on testosterone. And if we are ignoring that tumor can go anywhere from eye to brain. So we need to have a proper diagnostic workup, and I think a nasal endoscopy is must. So if a pregnant woman get contact with a smoke nearby, that what level it will affect the fetus. So basically, at every level, if first of all, in pregnancy, smoking is completely prohibited. Most of the cases in the developed nation which we see, because the complication in the pregnancy are mainly because of the smoking. So I don't think there is any substitute of not to be, they have to be avoided from that any smoking environment nearby. And definitely the smoke affects fetus. So how long does it take for your lungs to get better after you quit smoking? So Shruti, is a very good question. So basically, whenever you quit smoking, the effects are seen immediately after 2-3 hours. Your blood saturation will start rising. Your lungs will start detoxifying. In 2 weeks, your hemoglobin level will definitely be increasing. And at least if you are completely quitting the smoke, in 2 years, you will be almost near to a non-smoker, but definitely being in the risk. But I feel the effect of quitting the smoking starts from day one. From day one, you will be having this anxiety for 2-3 days or maybe for a couple of weeks, but that anxiety will gradually go away. But you need to keep yourself strong. And yes, you can become normal if anyone is doing smoking and is thinking, now I have done smoking, so there's no going back. It's completely wrong. Every good step is always a good step. And yes, if you completely quit out smoking, by 2 years, you will be almost near normal, but yes, still prone. So Nazia wants to know if someone is suffering from allergic sinusitis quite often. So Nazia, what I was telling is allergic rhinosinusitis are of 2 types. One is seasonal, one is perennial. So seasonal allergic rhinitis occurs in particular months, like in August, in autumn season. So those things, in those cases, we need to avoid those months, and we need to start our nasal hygiene, and we have the nasal sprays which should be used particularly in those months when you are getting those symptoms. Then when we have perennial rhinitis, which we are encountering like for the whole year. So in those kind of the cases, first of all, we should know the source of allergy. So we have allergic testing available. So we need to know that from which allergen you are suffering from. And then smoking is very important in those cases. If a perennial allergic rhinitis patient is a smoker, then definitely he need to quit smoking. As I told you, there are more than 15 to 20,000 particles in the smoke which can cause allergy. So definitely you need to quit out smoking. So does nicotine prevent COVID-19 or smoker have more risk? So Jay, is a wonderful question, because 3-4 months back, there were articles coming that smokers are prone to COVID. But now recent study, like yesterday only I was reading it, that smokers are almost 20 times more prone to COVID because of their lungs. I have encountered patients who are going into pulmonary fibrosis after being recovered from COVID. And for last almost a year, they are dependent on oxygen concentrator because their lungs are not able to make themselves healthy as they should be. So definitely smoking is not only hampering you, it's hampering you big time, either it's COVID or non-COVID. So nowadays people are shifting towards the e-smoking. So Rushaina, first of all, in our India, any kind of a smoke, whether it's e-smoking, is completely banned. So electronic cigarettes are not allowed, and in that e-cigarette also, which they claim to be having water vapors, as I told you, steam is one of the major cause of this mucor in this COVID time. People have done excessive steaming. Similarly, if you are smoking e-cigarette or that water vapors, they are also harming you, and it's not at all an alternative option, and it's completely banned in India. So Ashish wants to know how smoking affects your stomach. So Ashish, again, it's a very good question. Basically, smoking, what it does is it not only harm your nasal mucosa, it also makes your gastric mucosa very prone to ulcer and this acidosis. So what happens in usually the smokers, we see lots of acidosis cases. There is a term called GERD, which is upper gastroesophageal reflux disease. So what happens is because of the smoking, this acid comes to your throat region and cause swelling near your vocal cord, and you feel like a lump or a foreign body sensation in your upper airway. So smoking is not only hampering your nose, it also hampering your stomach mucosa. You are more prone to this gastric acid episodes, and ultimately you are also, the gas is coming up and is making your upper airway mucosa also kind of a prone for further disease. So Prakash wants to know, he gets nosebleed every year in summer or after exercise. Is that tumor? So Prakash, as I told you, basically between 18 to 30 years, if you are having this repeated episode every time, and that too mostly from one side, you should definitely see a ENT doctor. But 99% cases, it will be a routine cause. That the thing which I'm talking about, nasopharyngofibroma, is a very rare entity seen almost in 1 lakh people. So I hope that you are not among those. But if you are having that complaint from one side and regularly, then definitely a ENT checkup is required. So Sajal wants to know, quitting smoking is not easy for a person who are badly addicted. What possible steps should be taken? So basically, Sajal, I cannot tell each and everything in detail in this podium. There are so many people and so many guidelines, so many videos on the YouTube are so helpful. What I will tell, that if someone is addicted, the first step is that he has to quit smoking. Whatever may be the anxiety, he should think that, okay, this anxiety will go. The main point is the anxiety issue. The people think that their life has become so dull, they are not able to enjoy it. The peer pressure, they are not meeting their friends regularly. In the parties, they are thinking that they will be socially outcasted. So I think those things are even more dangerous. So what I will tell, that once you have taken the step, you should stick by to the step, and eventually the anxiety will go away and you will be living like a normal person. So Varun is asking, how much harmful is using earphone for a long time? So Varun, basically, as we all know, that our hair cells, they are one of a kind of a cells which do not have any regeneration capacity. So once our hair cell is damaged, that is damaged for rest of your life. So you have never seen any, I don't think there is any human in the world who has said that after 80 my hearing has become better. No, either it will dip or it will be sustainable. So what I will tell, that definitely earphone is better than a loud noise, but continuous use of earphone is ultimately giving damage to your inner ear. And then also what I have seen lots of IT people having this fungal infection who are using this earphone for long. But what people do, they don't sanitize their earphone, and ultimately we see automycosis and all those fungal infection which can cause ear discharge. So anything in excessive has to be avoided, but loud earphones are still better than a loud noise. And I think if you are using earphone, you should regularly sanitize your earphones in order to avoid other complications like automycosis. So Utkarsh, I have told you, like, he's asking if nicotine may inhibit the penetration. So this is completely false studies, and you should not be reading these things. And I have read many articles, and there is no role of nicotine in prevention of COVID. So Ehtisham Ahmed wants to know, smoking increase the risk of stroke. So basically, Ahmed, we all know that basically the most major side effect of smoking is on your blood vessels. It makes your blood vessels prone to having this atherosclerotic plaques and can damage your capillaries. And ultimately, once your capillaries get blocked because of this plaque, you are prone to heart attack, stroke, brain stroke. So I think this is something we all know, and we all know that smoking is detrimental to your heart. How do the tar and smoke get stuck into the lungs? So basically, Kushagra, as we know, we have so many minute and nanoparticles in the smoking, and the smoke particles ultimately they reach your alveoli and somehow they get trapped into that network of alveoli. So what we need to do is regular. We have so many antioxidant, like we have so many tablets which comes that we should dissolve in the water. You should regularly drink them if someone is having this problem of tar and those things. And ultimately, the best option is to quit the smoking. In 6 or 7 months, the lungs will itself will try to get themselves clean up, and in the long run, you will not be facing these problems. So, Kushagra, Ria, any other questions do people want to ask, or any other thing you people need to know? Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, first of all, thank you for enlightening us through the through the answers that you have provided us. And I would really like to ask some of the questions on my behalf.
Yes.
Sir, you mentioned nicotine, and we all know that it is a major major product of tobacco. So, as we have read that nicotine has both neurotropic as well as neurotoxic effects. Can you enlighten us on the topic?
So basically, nicotine, like neurotropic and neurotoxic. So basically, they are like a flip side of a same coin. Neurotropic are effect which will be seen in the long term. Neurotoxic will be the effect which will be seen immediately. So ultimately, like a snake that we know the viper and cobra. One is like neurotoxic, one is like detrimental to heart. So similarly with the smoking, it's a wide spectrum of symptoms, and this terminology topic is, I don't think that it's matter in long run. Both the effects, whether it's short term or it's long term, the short term effect will ultimately result into a long term injury. So quitting the smoke is the only solution that we have.
Okay, sir. So generally in patients who are prone to smoking, large cell carcinoma is the major kind of cancer which occurs. So can you, sir, enlighten us about the large cell carcinoma?
Large cell carcinoma, you want to know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically, like we all know, we have learned, we have studied in our MBBS days that we have small cell carcinoma, large cell carcinoma. Typically, large cell is connected to smoking. So it's very true that in the smoking, we are more prone to this large cell carcinomas. And then not only this, almost your risk of any cancer related to lips to lungs is increased by 15-fold, and almost out of them, 70% are usually fatal. And not only large cell, smoking causes squamous cell carcinoma, adenocarcinoma, you name it. Every cancer of the lungs somehow is related to somewhere to smoking. And irrespective if you are getting a large cell or small cell, ultimately you are getting a cancer. You need to that your solution is same. So there's no point of saying only this variety of the lung is getting from the smoking, and we are not getting this cancer. Ultimately, any cancer, anything which is malignant is kind of a detrimental to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So it was a very enlightening and knowledgeable session by you, and it was indeed a rich experience. Thank you so much for enlightening us, and I would like to hand over to Ria Ahuja for continuing the session.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, Yana. Now, first of all, I would like to request IT and Media Committee to please share the link of the post-event form, and all the IMA MSN members are requested to please fill it for their certificates. Now I request the state convener IMA MSN UP, Lakhan Prakash Gupta sir, to please say a few words on the occasion.
Okay. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
You're audible.
Okay. Good evening, first of all. Greeting from IMA MSN Uttar Pradesh. It gives me immense pleasure to come up and speak up here. So first, I welcome all of you to come here. Now I welcome honorable guest, Dr. Pradeep Kumar sir, IS Government of Rajasthan, Dr. Virendra Kumar sir, Additional Secretary IMA UP, Dr. Uddhav sir, guest speaker, Dr. Sakshi Singh, IMA MSN Secretary UP. Also, I thank all the participants of today's session for joining this. And at last, IMA MSN UP is really grateful to this IMA MSN LLRM unit for conducting this session and creating so much of awareness in this needful of time, and creating awareness in among young medicos. So thank you, IMA MSN LLRM unit. So looking forward for such more active participation in such awareness program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request State General Secretary IMA MSN UP, Sakshi Singh ma'am, to please say a few words on the occasion.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am.
First of all, I would like to thank today's honorable guest, Dr. Shri Pradeep Kumar Gawande sir, Dr. Virendra Kumar sir, Dr. Udbhav Mittal sir, for sharing your valuable words and also taking up all the questions of our audience. It was very, very informative, I must say. And of course, I would also like to congratulate the whole LLRM team for coming up with such a great initiative and also so perfectly and successfully executing it. And of course, you people are already doing a commendable job and so energetic students. And IMMS and UP state team is always there for you, myself, Lakhan. So keep it up and all the best for all the future events. Thank you so much, everyone.
I must say that we have a huge participation, so I am thankful to all the people who have participated and listened this talk very carefully. And I am seriously I am so much happy that so many people are still logged in and they have listened to the whole conversation. So it's a wonderful initiative, and kudos to you guys for making this happen.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, ma'am. It was indeed a pleasure to listen to all that you have said today. And now I request Priyanshi Goyal to give the vote of thanks.
Thanks, Shreya. My heart is filled with lots of gratitude and respect for our distinguished guest panel, Shri Pradeep K. Gawande sir, Dr. Virendra Kumar sir, Dr. Udbhav Mittal sir, for not only sparing their individual time for this event, but also for enlightening us with their commendable talk on the subject. I am running short of words to express my humble thanks to Lakhan Prakash Gupta sir and Sakshi Singh ma'am for your valuable presence. I would like to extend my gratitude to IMA MSN UP for supporting us. I am also thankful to the Council of IMA MSN LLRM and especially Kushagra Vedic, Riya Ahuja, and Yana Kaushik for making this webinar as a successful event.
Thank you, Priyanshi. I request all the IMA MSN members to please fill the form for their certificates. And I announce the official end of the webinar. Thank you to all the guests and participants for joining us. And we hope to see you all again in case we organize future events. Thank you. And we surely will do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We officially announce the end of the webinar. Thank you.